Brian and the others do in 2014, such that for so many years there was no load shedding. They will find all manner of reasons. Instead of looking at this one, to maintain, to repair, to do whatever. And indeed, for so many years, there was no load shedding. He left. After a little while, it came back. So I say, it was very correct of Prime Minister to say, I've been brought from there to here to deal with this matter of load shedding. Let's look at it seriously and act on it, which they did with positive results. So by the time this load shedding comes back in 2017, 2018, you must be able to guess why. It's because you got new people who don't behave in the way that Brian Molefe behaved. Why? I think it's deliberate. Seven years after Kusile started building the Kusile power station. 7 years after they started, there was not one, whatever you call it, of electricity that was coming from Kusile. After 7 years, nothing. What ESCOM did was to contract an Indian company to come and build Kusile. The company came and built Kusile Unit Number 1 in a much shorter period than was expected. And Kusile Power Unit Number 1, there it is, generating electricity. After 7 years, this Indian company was able to solve whatever the problem was. So it's not as though during the 7 years there were no ideas as to what is it to do in order to make sure that Unit 1 produces electricity. But the people were there, decided that they would not use that knowledge until the Indians were brought in. We used that knowledge, and in no time, Unit 1 was working. And then there's a strange thing that happens. So the Indians are expecting that their contract will be extended so that they do Unit 2 and Unit 3 and so on. No. ESCOM says to them, we will extend the contract on condition you get a PEE partner. So, what the Indians had done, they had brought something like 50 engineers and technicians from India to do this power station. So, of course, they say to ESCOM, we don't understand what you mean by this black economic empowerment. But for instance, if you have some black engineers to join ours, so maybe that. No, we don't have people like that. And they were training 150. As they were working on that Kusile thing and Mitupi, they were training 150 people. But because they couldn't agree on this PEE thing, they terminated the contract of the Indians. So Indians went home. Kusile is still not finished to this day. I'm saying it's deliberate. It's people who have wanted to produce this electricity crisis in the same way that they wanted to produce a revenue crisis by the destruction of SARS. You look at all of the state institutions. Look at Transnet. Look at what's happened to the police service. Look at the prosecution. All of this.
Examining President Mbeki's viewpoint on the intentional damage of state-possessed endeavors, SOEs, by the Ramaphosa-drove government requires a reasonable assessment. Previous President Thabo Mbeki has been a vocal figure, supporting for powerful administration and monetary strength in South Africa. His perspectives on SOEs frequently underscored their significance in driving monetary development and social turn of events. Charges of intentional damage of SOEs by a resulting organization could demonstrate an unmistakable takeoff from the strategies and procedures carried out during Mbeki's administration. Understanding the unique circumstance and particulars of Mbeki's affirmations would be pivotal to assess the legitimacy and ramifications of such cases. Inspecting both Mbeki's viewpoint and the ongoing organization's activities in regards to SOEs can give a far-reaching comprehension of the circumstance. Factors, for example, administration changes, monetary bungle, political impact, or changes in financial methodologies could be at the center of the discussion. Taking into account different perspectives and look for authenticating proof prior to making inferences is fundamental. Investigating the effect of supposed damage on the nation's economy, residents, and the future direction of SOEs would likewise add to an exhaustive conversation on this hostile issue.